Do you think roll up sleeves? If you knew a reference, since I didn't tell you far enough in advance for the picks.
What are you doing?
Welcome to our Black Friday edition of NZR Reaction. We have our live audience today, and we have a live show. Brady, Jules, and Vic here with us today.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
We are going to jump right into Vic's picks today.
How about it? We're finally in person after all this time.
We're excited to be here.
Don't
Two
need
out
to
of
deal.
three of us.
Don't need to deal with Brady being on the other end yelling over me.
So, well, I can yell over you in person better. But starting off with Vic's picks, we got the Bengals at the Titans. What are we thinking?
This is a very difficult game to predict.
It sure is.
That is why I added it this morning.
And that was why I don't have a lot of research, because it was added this morning.
And I told you 5 minutes ago.
But in my confidence pool, we picked, and I will state that they are going to be the winner. Cincinnati with Joe Burrow as quarterback. Jim or Joe.
Okay, fair enough.
And I think they are not one-dimensional, like Tennessee with Henry running and running and running. So that is my number one pick.
Well, the Bengals starting running back is out, so do you think that's going to make them more one-dimensional?
It's certainly not going to help them any. But who is our second in line?
Samaje Perine.
Who I just picked up in fantasy.
Of course.
He's my new starting flex for the week in a must-win game.
Who's that?
Samaje Perine, the Bengals backup running back.
He's a stud. He got 3 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, if he goes off for another
So
40,
what are we worried about then?
Well,
He replaces Woodson.
Yeah, we're fine.
Brady, do you also have the Bengals? Or
Yeah,
not?
I got the Bengals. I got this a tight game, like very tight. I'll talk more about it a little later, but I think Joe Burrow and his clutchness pulls it out against Ryan Tannehill. Our next pick is going to be the Sorry, we forgot Jules.
Oh, yeah. Big mistake over there.
It happens from time to time.
Oh, for sure, man.
Little different setup. Today.
I'm going to take the Titans today because I think the Bengals defense is doo-doo.
And my confidence just swelled. Okay. And our next pick
Here's
is going
why.
to be the Chargers versus the Cardinals.
Here's
What do
why.
you think?
Don't listen to this bozo over here. Here's why the Titans are going to win this ball game. Because the Titans know how to play defense, and they are seeking revenge from last year's Bengals-Titans game in the was it the divisional round? Yeah, divisional round. Titans are not going to come into this game like a normal game. They're not going to be very happy. I think the Bengals have no way they're going to stop Derrick Henry. And, the Titans have been pretty good this year ever since their Week 1 loss to the Giants. I think they'll win against the Bengals. Joe Burrow is crazy good. It'll be a high-scoring game. But I've got the Titans winning this one.
Well, wait, time out. So you're talking you on this whole rant about how great the Titans defense is and how they're well coached and going to get revenge. But Joe Burrow's going to go off.
I never said the Titans are going to shut them down, but I think the Titans have a good defense.
But you said it's going to be high scoring.
Yeah,
You're
you can have a good
contradicting
defense
yourself.
and still have a high-scoring game.
So you're telling me Ryan Tannehill's going to outduel Joe Burrow?
Would you say the Dolphins have a fairly good defense?
Dolphins have a mid-defense, but they
Dolphins
have
have a fairly good defense.
But they have a phenomenal offense.
And the Bears
do the
scored
Titans
32 on them.
Do the Dolphins have a phenomenal offense?
Yes.
Wait, sorry. Do the Titans have a phenomenal offense?
Oh, you're mixing yourself up over here.
Okay.
What's this guy talking about?
With our next pick, we have the Chargers at the Cardinals. What are we thinking for that one?
I think the Chargers are going to win. The Cardinals are a team going the wrong direction. They're going to be getting rid of their coach shortly. They were an embarrassment the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chargers still have a slight chance to make the playoffs. and they got a quarterback that is showing what it is to be an excellent quarterback.
I mean, the Chargers have more than a slight chance. New England just dropped a game. I think the Chargers are right back up in that 7th spot.
Are they really?
I believe either they're tied or
No, they're not. They're not because New England's 6-5. Chargers are 5-5.
Okay, well, Chargers are going to be 6-5 after this week. There's no shot the Cardinals beat them.
I agree with that. I think that I don't know. I mean, ever since that new game, I don't know. Kyler's just so like he's
Ever
not
since
good.
Call of Duty came out,
Dude,
I mean,
Call of Duty is the end of Kyler.
every time.
Boy, what does Call of Duty have to do with this?
So
It's a generational gap.
it's a video game that every time a new game comes out, Kyler Murray's performance just plummets. So there's this whole joke about how he spends too much time
This
playing Call
isn't
of
just
Duty
you, it's
and not enough time studying the playbook and the film.
I see. So you're picking on poor Kyler Murray, who's laughing all the way to the bank.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Nailed it. And our final pick is going to be the Packers at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm. The Packers at the Eagles. What do you think, Vic?
This, I think, is going to be tougher than most people think. I think Rodgers is a great quarterback. He doesn't like where it's going this year. And this might be his last chance at redemption. Having said that, I think Philadelphia's going to win. They lost their last... It was their last game they lost.
2 games ago.
2 games.
And they should have lost to
They
Jeff
lost to the
Sunday.
Commanders.
And they almost lost to Jeff Sunday.
Okay. I think that they're going to come back and win. They're going to win their division. They need to get these wins to stay ahead of Dallas.
They do.
Oh, I think they're pretty far behind. What's Dallas's record? They're 8-3.
They're 8-3.
And then they lost one.
They're
So
Eagles
they-
are 9-1, right?
Who?
Eagles.
Yeah.
So, and then I think they play each other again. don't
They do, yeah.
So if Philadelphia loses, and then Dallas beats them, they can be tied. So I think Jalen Hurts is going to come through.
Okay. Do you agree with that, Brady, or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a tight game. These are both first half teams. So I think this is going to be, honestly, kind of a tough game to watch. I think it's going to be lower scoring than people think. I think it's going to be boring. I mean, I think Rodgers will make some plays, Hurts will make some plays. I think the Eagles, just with their talent overall, are going to win the game. I don't think this is going to be a very exciting game. I think it's just going to be kind of a slugfest.
Really?
Really.
You mean a snooze fest? Slugfest would be if they were going back and forth.
Watching the Packers struggle is never a snooze fest. But
You're not wrong. I'm going to take the Packers in this game, as much as I hate to say it, because this game just reeks of an Aaron Rodgers 2-minute drive to win the game by 3. Like 16-13 or 20-17. Does it not?
It does.
I mean, is this a night game or a
It's Sunday Night Football.
Sunday night?
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
Sunday night.
I'm not going against Aaron Rodgers on Sunday Night Football. As simple as that. The Eagles really struggled against the Colts. They barely pulled it out.
Yeah.
I was so mad that I didn't stick with my Chargers pick last week until Frankie convinced me to take the Eagles instead. I would have finally made it back to 500 in this week in Vegas. But no, the Eagles decided not to. So I don't think the Eagles are gonna put up the best performance against Green Bay. Never, as I said, never doubt Rodgers in Sunday Night Football. That's the point of it.
Well, no, he really is a great quarterback. He just had a terrible year.
Yeah, and Christian Watson teamed up.
And no one else.
He was one of the guys the Bears were thinking of drafting too.
Watson.
Yeah.
Now we got Chase Claypool though. Great pickup.
Yeah, Brady and I were talking this week about how we were so excited when we got the Claypool trade, and then now all of a sudden it's just,
They don't throw.
oh, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Our second round pick, like, gonna be 35th overall or something.
Nope.
At this point.
I don't you really think it's a little early
It is early.
to make that decision.
Yeah, it is early.
It might be, but they've also used Claypool on like 50% of the snaps. I feel like.
You just got to get. The problem is if Fields isn't playing though, they're not going to get anywhere with Claypool.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's going to be a work in progress till next season, and they'll have to work with the offseason. But
Has that been determined finally that he is not playing tomorrow?
it is not, but
Who? Fields?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
He
He's
should
got a
not.
separated shoulder.
He should not be playing
He
tomorrow.
should not be playing,
There's
clearly.
I mean, aside from Fields, we haven't had any threat at quarterback really in years. So I don't think they're gonna risk his health. I got my Jay Cutler jersey on today that I found in my closet, buried in there. But you know,
You gotta continue to bury it.
hey, one of our friends was it Sammy who came on and then pulled the Cutler jersey out?
Yeah.
Sammy had the good picks. Frankie went 1-1-1 last week.
I went 3-0 last week.
I know, for the first time. Good job.
How did you do?
I went 1-2. I should have gone 2-1, but I changed my pick last
Should have
week.
gone 2-1. Should have gone 2-1.
Okay,
Alright.
let's move on to our turkey legs. If you see, I'll move the screen real quick. We got Diggs, we got Josh Allen, we got Turkey, we got turkey legs, Tyler Bass, even eating up.
Yeah.
The Bills barely pulled it out. But first, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, if we didn't say it already.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We're very thankful for our fans, and I'd like to give 2 shout-outs. One to Johnny Geib, who helped with the audio stuff. And then he's been doing a Studio One podcast for quite a long time now. And then secondly, I'd like to give a shout-out to Skip Lindenberg. Thank you, Skip. He helped me with the podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're using a platform. And Skip has a podcast called The Main Thing on Spotify and other platforms, so check him out. But yeah, let's get to our Thanksgiving portion.
Yeah, so we have our turkey leg awards, as you can see from the Bills feasting yesterday.
Feasting.
So we're trying to think of our best MVP from the game. Not necessarily like Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson, but
Yeah,
who do we think
go-to.
who really made an impact? And Jules, Bills Lions. Who was that for you?
Bills Lions. It's absolutely got to be Michael Badgley for me.
Michael Badgley.
Michael Badgley.
With that field goal. But if he made the field goal, and
If he
made
makes
everything else,
that,
it's
the
tied
line.
and the Bills just win in overtime.
Well, no, not necessarily. That changed the whole dynamic of the game. The
He
Lions
made the
had
whole
to
dynamic
come.
of the game.
Yeah, Michael Badgley. For anyone who didn't watch, this
He
dude missed
shaked like a 29-yard field goal. That was
Now,
great.
keep in mind, Tyler Bass, the Bills kicker, went 8 for 8 or 9 for 9 over his 2 games at Ford
He
Field.
had to miss the extra point yesterday, which is why he had to kick the game.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Should have been 26-22.
True. Yeah, but if Badgley makes that field goal, it would have been 20-19, right? Or
Yeah.
they would have been up by 1, maybe 17-16.
Yep.
It changes the whole dynamic of the fourth quarter.
They were
for the
down
Lions.
19-14 when he missed that field goal. It was right after the safety. It was after the safety. It would have made it a 2-point
I
game.
thought
So
it was before the safety.
it would tighten the gap regardless. It was a big
Yeah,
play.
it would have changed the game. And the Lions comes down to them losing by a field goal
Yeah.
when they could have had those 3 points on the board. So Michael Badgley is my turkey leg winner for that game as the MVP for the Bills.
I like it. So mine is. So everyone has their traditions, right? You got your traditions. You know, Thanksgiving's a tradition. Black Friday's a tradition. It happens every year. And behind those two things, one of the most consistent traditions is the Lions losing a football game on yesterday.
Of course.
And I think that came into place yesterday. They had all that gritty performance, the great performance by Jared Goff. The defense looked pretty good for most of it, multiple turnovers. And then they gave up a 40-yard bomb with 10 seconds left in the game or whatever. Only the Lions are capable of that, and the Thanksgiving gods and the traditions really kept it up. And that was the Bills' MVP, I feel like. That was the outcome.
What, tradition?
Tradition.
Oh, I like that pick. Yeah, it is tradition to see the Lions lose on Thanksgiving.
And Giants-Cowboys. Who do we think's MVP
Well,
there?
hold on. Vic, did you watch the Lions-Bills game?
Yes, I
I
did.
didn't put him on
So
the
who's
spot.
your MVP of the game? Aside from Josh Allen or something obvious.
Stephon Diggs.
I actually think that you mentioned his name earlier. The quarterback for Detroit.
Jared Goff?
Yeah,
Jared
did a great
Wow.
job. I never liked him, but I thought he looked very good.
He did look pretty. I mean, they kept him in the game against the Bills. The
Oh,
Bills are a far better team.
100%, yeah.
It's an interesting pick there.
Wasn't the kicker on the Bears this year?
Tyler
Yeah.
Santa?
No, Michael Badgley played one game.
Oh, bad.
That's what I
He
thought.
did. You're right. Yeah, I forgot about
Yeah, they
that.
got
It was the
It was
Giants
good.
game where they made 4 field goals.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay. Respect.
Yeah. Alright, so, Jules, Giants-Cowboys.
Giants, Cowboys. You know, it's easy to pick someone like Micah. It's easy to pick someone like Dak, who had a good game. I'm going to go to someone on the Giants. Forget about the outcome of the game. Darius Slayton absolutely sunned that boy on the Cowboys. He went up and did his best Randy Moss impression.
He was pretty good.
Absolutely just made that man look like a fool.
He made
It wasn't even close.
Was it Anthony Brown?
I think it was Anthony Brown.
Dude, Anthony Brown was like a high school kid on that play.
He looked like Brady trying to play cornerback. That's why they don't put white corners in the league.
I'm 6'3", buddy, but yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Darius, I mean, he went up. That was one of the best catches I've seen the whole season. What were you saying?
I don't remember that part.
It was in the second quarter, I want to say.
Yeah.
This is a jump ball on the
Danny
right
Dimes
sideline.
just launched one up, and Slayton jumped over the guy and caught it.
Speaking of Danny Dimes, I thought one of the biggest assets the Cowboys had was Daniel Jones' accuracy. There were so many 3rd and 3s that Brian Dable dialed up a great play. There was a guy wide open in the flat, over the middle on the sideline, just great separation. 31 out of 31 quarterbacks make that throw, and he spiked it. Like 4, 5, 6 times. Like there were multiple instances. Like you look at this, if you're a stat watcher, he completed 60% of his throws, no picks, yada yada yada, 220 yards. He missed so many throws. Oh my God!
If you take Saquon out of that game plan,
if you take Saquon out of that game plan,
nothing.
they don't score.
You know, we were talking about how in the very first episode of this podcast, the launch episode, we kept talking about, oh man, the Giants are horrible. When are they're gonna have one of the worst teams. Danny Dimes is gonna be benched by week 5, week 6, whatever it is.
We did say that.
And every single week, we have had to look at this team and wonder, how on earth did they win a football game?
I still don't understand how they have 7 wins. I'll never understand how the Giants won 7 football games.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
They've
They're
so
bad.
little talent.
They're bad. They're well coached, but they're bad.
Yeah.
Like the Bears are well coached sometimes, and they're terrible.
Hey, maybe they'll go get a quarterback in the draft next year.
The Giants, yeah, they need something.
But there's not gonna be. I mean, with 7 wins, they're gonna end up with what, like the 18th, 19th, 20th pick probably.
The Giants need to go tank for Caleb Williams.
Is he draft eligible? He's not draft eligible.
No, 2 years.
Who is this?
Caleb Williams,
The USC quarterback?
He's ridiculous.
I saw a thing of his fantasy
he's
points
ridiculous.
if he was in the NFL.
Well, that's a lot of college quarterbacks.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is pretty good.
He's good. He knows how to play football.
Well, in that game, there was one instance where the coach, how the Giants went crazy. Did either of you see that or no?
I
What
saw
battle
him
there?
mad. I don't remember what it was about. It was like when they were winning 6-0. It was in the first quarter.
I think it involved one of the linemen being down the field on a pass.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Because
Well,
you lost.
you paid more attention to the game than we did, I guess.
Yeah,
we were too busy feasting up on turkey and cranberries.
So
Only you ate the cranberries, but
You don't like cranberries
I like
on
them.
Thanksgiving?
There's better food. All right,
That has no taste.
Jules, we gotta go to the night game now. Patriots Vikings. Who's your
Patriots,
MVP
Vikings.
there? The Vikings pulled out with the win.
I'm gonna be honest. I did not watch much of this game. My parents made me do some stuff at home during the game.
Tough
But-
oh boy.
But
Bye.
I pulled up TikTok near the end of the game and saw someone TikTok living like the game from their seat. And it was one play I saw. And it was Kirk Thuggins throwing an absolute dime to Adam Thielen, toe tap in the back of the end zone. Obviously, the Patriots couldn't cover Jettis. He went off against them. But I'm going to give the award to Adam Thielen because he had finally a good game. And that was also the only player I saw anything from during the
Okay,
game,
so-
so it's my default pick.
So Jules is very incredible. I personally thought the Patriots special teams was very valuable towards the Vikings.
yeah, we certainly were.
They handed the Vikings, I think, 2 touchdowns, was it? They failed to make the ref recognize their own holding call. I mean, it was tough.
Hey, Nick Folk did his job, though. I have him in fantasy.
Okay, fair, but we don't care about your fantasy. That's all you talk about. So, yeah, I mean, if those 14 points don't go that way, Patriots win, cover, and all of that, they're having a good Thanksgiving. But I think the Patriots special teams really stepped it up, and when the home team needed them, they delivered. And Grandpa,
Nice.
And Vic.
Vic.
Vic, what are we thinking for the MVP of the Patriots-Vikings game? Kirk Thuggins?
No, Jefferson.
Jefferson, all right.
Good pick.
Good pick.
He just absolutely went off.
But
Best receiver in the league.
do you gentlemen ever discuss or grade the officials, because there were,
I actually didn't think the officials were terrible last night. I didn't watch the whole Vikings game, but
I watched the second half, and there they were bad.
pretty bad.
And they were bad in the others.
I mean,
They
officials
usually
are
are.
usually pretty bad in the NFL, if we're gonna be honest here.
They need to make more. They need to make pass interference and face masks and all those reviewable.
Oh, I agree. I think each coach should get two
And they should get they should
two
get two
challenges a
challenges.
game that can go towards roughing the passer or pass interference. And every time they get it correct,
And
they get
illegal-
another.
And illegal contact. Yeah, I think it's roughing the
Not
passer.
illegal, that's two.
No, any personal foul, any 15-yard personal foul or automatic first down call, they should be eligible to challenge, and they should have a third challenge per game to use on that. And
I'm
if
gonna
they get it
disagree
right,
with
they should.
that. I think that is, if they're gonna start making arguments about we can't make the game take too long.
That's
I
fine.
think-
What's another two
I
challenges?
think the two big controversial calls that you constantly see are the pass interference and the roughing the passer. That's the two that they should make reviewable, and it's got to be like a 30-second review.
Okay.
I think that's 100% viable for the league.
Okay.
Because there's so many
Because
roughing the
they
passer.
did that.
It's like, oh, get him a pillow.
I agree with you, but what about the argument? What was it, 3 years ago, or in the playoff game,
In the Saints Rams game.
right? And they changed the rule for the next year, but then they changed it back.
Because they never got over.
Well, they did. Yeah, but they let you do unlimited challenges on pass interference, didn't they?
Yeah, no, I think
That didn't work.
I think you can only challenge it, but coaches almost never did. Whenever they did, it was like
They didn't get it.
it didn't impact the game enough.
I think if you give them the two, then they'll only review the really controversial ones,
Okay.
in my opinion.
No, but I don't think they gave them. I think that was included in the two they had.
It might have. You
And
might
it
be right
just-
there.
They wouldn't call it. They wouldn't overrule it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
There's there's a lot of loopholes within that system that they could expose.
True. There's a lot we could go into that, but
But our next
our
segment,
next segment,
in honor of
let's go to it.
Black Friday.
Hold
we
on.
have,
It's time for the Black Friday Blitz.
So for today's episode of Black Friday Blitz, Jules and I and Vic are going to explore the top Black Friday deals that teams partake in this offseason, this season. And I'm going to start this one off. I think the Seahawks secondary was the best Black Friday deal that season. They
Okay.
got both their starting corners, who are both studs, in the 4th and 5th rounds of the draft as rookies. They're paying them nothing. Well, not nothing, but for NFL terms, they're paying them nothing, and they're producing at a very high level.
Tariq Woolen, and who's the other one?
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, you're right.
Kobe Bryant from Cincy, who is Sauce Gardner's partner back there. And then Tariq Woolen's just balling out.
To be
And
fair,
Seahawks
though-
teams are paying like top corners $20 million, and Seahawks got both theirs for probably $1 million.
To be fair, it makes sense that Bryant went late though, because all the tape is going to be on Sauce.
Oh, of course it makes sense, but at the same time, what the Seahawks did in taking him, they got a great player.
They sure did. I actually thought you were going to go a different direction with the Seahawks, like Kenneth Walker getting him pretty late. Getting Geno in that trade.
Kenneth Walker was a second-round pick.
Yeah, but people had him in the Heisman race last year.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah, do you remember the game against Michigan in the snow when he absolutely ran
Yeah,
all over them?
yeah. And then Michigan State pulled out the win.
Mhm.
That was a good game. All right, what about you, Jules?
I actually didn't write this one down, but it made me think of it very quickly when you mentioned drafting them late. I'm trying to find what pick this guy was.
Who was it?
Let's see when he got. Okay. The Jacksonville Jaguars took Devin Lloyd from Utah. I'm seeing they got him at the 27th pick.
That's the first round.
That is the first round. This guy is playing like a top 5 pick. This guy is playing so. I mean, they took Trayvon Walker first overall. You could have switched the two. Devin Lloyd is producing so much on that defense. Forced fumbles, tackles, interceptions, pass breakups. This guy's doing everything out there. Every time I look at the screen, I mean, the Jaguars aren't on the screen a lot.
Yeah.
But, my friends and I watch Red Zone back at school. Every time the Jaguars are on, it's either the rest of their defense screwing up and getting thrown for 60 yards down the field, or it's Devin Lloyd making a play.
Mm-hmm.
This guy can ball. He's going to be like, I know Shaq Leonard went in the second round, I think, from South Carolina a couple years.
Yeah.
South Carolina
South Carolina State.
South Carolina State a couple of years ago. and then he's been playing like a top 10 pick ever since. I mean, I don't see any reason Devin Lloyd's going to slow down.
Right.
He's been a stud.
That's fair. For my next Black Friday deal, do you remember the Trey Lance trade?
Of course I do.
The Dolphins got 2 firsts, which they used to get another first, I believe. And then they combined these to get Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Bradley Chubb. And the Niners overdrafted Trey Lance, who does not appear to be very good.
And he's never going to play.
Yeah, so the Dolphins got 3 Pro Bowlers. 2 of them you could argue are all pros currently. One of them's getting better and better. For a quarterback that is probably going to be off the team in a year or 2 for him and Garoppolo. So I think the Dolphins fleeced that deal. I don't know what store they went to for that deal. I don't know what deal they got.
Blockbuster deal there.
That was a blockbuster Black Friday
Well,
deal.
who's the All-Pros you're saying they got?
Tyreek's an All-Pro.
Oh, the picks. Okay. I was thinking they drafted all.
No, the picks they used to trade, which were the biggest pieces in the trade for Chubb and Tyreek.
So basically,
That was the only
Tyreek and Chubb for Trey Lance.
And Jalen Waddle.
Who?
Jalen
Right.
Waddle.
Jeez, that is a fleecing.
I
I've
know.
never looked that deep into that trade.
Yeah, it's
Holy
crazy.
cow. Okay, my next one, I've got 2 in the NFC North. I'll go with my first one. First one is the more obvious one. Zadarius Smith to the Vikings.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Packers cut him, right? To
No,
save
the
cap?
Packers. Yeah, the
I'm pretty
Packers.
sure the Packers cut him.
Oh yeah, you're right. They cut him because they couldn't pay him because Rodgers took the bank and the other bank.
Yeah, my friend Steven's a big Packers fan. Hi, Steven, if you're watching.
Sorry, Steven.
Yeah, sorry. He's talked about Zadarius as like the biggest regret he has of the Packers management this past year. He's been like one of the best top 5 defensive edge rushers in the league this year, and he's on the division rival, just going off against everyone. He's been insane. What's your next pick?
What's yours? You said you had another NFC.
Oh, I do have another NFC
Is
North.
it Hawk?
It is not Hawk.
Hawk. Mine was Hawk. I don't know if this was the biggest one, but it's one of the more recent trade deadlines. I mean, the Vikings got 2 fourths and a stud tight end for a second and a third. I mean,
That's a fair deal, yeah.
I mean, he's had 26 catches in his first 4 games. He's still getting implemented into the offense.
Well,
Especially against the Patriots, he was a threat in the red zone.
absolutely.
Especially, Jefferson, Thielen both stretch the field up and down. And, I think Hawkins should be in the middle. It feels a huge, reliable person for Kirk to throw to.
You wonder, with all these weapons on offense, how they only put 3 up against Dallas.
It's crazy.
It's just insanity. That game was... I still can't believe that game. And then they come back and beat the Patriots, and now Kirk Cousins is all talking about, oh, let me go to my dentist and get a grill.
Yeah, Kirk is on the moon right now.
He's got his swagger back. That's all I can say. But yeah, my other NFC North pick also happens to be a mistake. Well, I don't know if it's a mistake by the Packers, but they let Jamal Williams walk in free agency or wherever. He signs a 2-year, $6 million deal.
That's it?
2 years, $6 million with the Detroit Lions. Gives that speech on Hard Knocks, and boom, he has 13 touchdowns and leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns.
He's a dude.
He is insane.
He's good.
I mean...
And then there's the Bears.
You think Swift is this... Yeah, of course the Bears couldn't fleece anyone in the offseason.
They're going to be fleeced.
Well, yeah, they gave up Robert Quinn and they gave up Roquan, but... Roquan was on his contract here. We had to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jamal Williams has been insane.
He's good.
Do you have any last Black Friday? I have one more.
I got another note. The Russell Wilson trade.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't talk about that, but what was it? 2 firsts, 2 seconds, thirds.
It's insane. That's gonna come back to haunt them for years.
It was.
It's
And they
already
signed-
haunting them.
The Broncos have no future, and the Seahawks get what Russell Wilson did for 1.0% of the price.
Yeah, can
and
you
all the
believe?
picks? It's ridiculous.
What I'm surprised by here, which sometimes NFL teams do this, sometimes they hold off. I think it's more of a baseball thing, like how Julio Rodriguez is a stud. The Mariners signed him for however many years and millions of dollars in his rookie season. Russell Wilson goes to the Broncos, and they immediately before the season even starts sign him to a 6-year, $210 or some $million deal.
It was more.
It was more than that? What are you doing? You haven't even seen the guy play for you.
No. See, the argument between football and baseball is baseball, you play the same player. Football, you're in a system. Your coach and your system in football has a much greater impact than whatever team you're on in baseball.
Baseball
just-
is individual.
Exactly.
I don't think signing guys before you've seen them even play for you. I just don't understand that from the Broncos management whatsoever.
Well, didn't Cleveland do that for
Deshaun,
Johnson?
they did,
Yeah,
but that's also the only quarterback they've had in like our entire lifetimes.
that's above
So-
decent.
And they did that. It was a risky move. They did that before they even found out if he'd be suspended or not.
Yeah, I know it's very risky, but Cleveland's desperate as usual.
Cleveland is
per
desperate.
usual.
Yeah. All right. My last one requires me to pull up a draft order
Oh boy, this will be
from the 2020 NFL draft. Where's it? 21. It might be 21. Yeah, 21. Let's pull this up real quick. I am going to name you every player drafted before Micah Parsons. Trevor Lawrence to the Jags. Fair enough.
That's a good pick.
Zach
Zach
Wilson to the
Wilson.
Jets.
Bust.
Bust. Trey Lance to the Niners. Bust. Kyle Pitts to Atlanta. Shouldn't be, but so far has been
A
bust. Jamar Chase,
Stud.
absolute stud.
Who was
Jalen
that last one? Oh.
Jamar Chase,
Okay, sorry.
absolute stud. Jalen Waddle, absolute stud. Penny Sewell, he's been
He's been good.
good. He's been really good. J.C. Horn's been really good.
J.C. been decent.
Patrick Surtain's been really
He's a
good.
stud. That's what means the dude.
Then we get to Devontae Smith. He hasn't been better than Micah Parsons.
Deontay, no. Eagles will
And then
not
Justin Fields,
stud.
of course, a stud.
Yeah.
But when you look at all those guys, even the three guys who are studs, I would rather have Micah Parsons over every single 11 player, every single player that I listed there. Micah to the 12th pick to the Cowboys.
As a Bears fan,
You
I'm
look-
biased. I'd
You
rather
look
have
at
Fields,
Carolina. You look at Carolina. J.C. Horn, he's been good.
but- No, you look
He
at the
has not been a game-changing defensive.
You look at the
defensive
Niners.
player
What
for
if the
them.
Niners had Micah
True.
Parsons to pair with Nick Bosa?
That's scary.
That's scary.
That's real
That's
scary.
so scary.
That. Oh man,
Yeah,
I can't even
that's a good
imagine
thing.
that. And
And then
then,
traded back, got another first and take him at 10. I mean, oof.
and then Patrick Surtain's been really good for Denver. But where was that against Devontae Adams last week?
Also,
Like, I
just-
thought this guy was going to guard him or something. And suddenly Devontae's running free for a game-winning touchdown to get like 146 yards or
Yeah.
whatever he ended up.
Also, just to point it out, when the Eagles traded with the Cowboys, the Giants traded their pick. The Giants reportedly wanted Devontae Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta tell you, that's why they traded
And they
back.
traded back to the Bears.
So if that didn't happen, the Bears might not have. Yeah, the Giants would have likely taken a receiver or traded back with someone else. Justin Fields could land with the Patriots or the Vikings. And imagine how that would have shaken up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look after him in that draft, and everyone else in the first round is just doo-doo, except Travis Etienne.
Mac Jones is decent.
Mac is Mac.
Mac is fun.
He's doing
Uh,
very
Who
well.
else was in
The
that
whole
first round?
this is the whole rest of that first round. You got Rashawn
Very-
Slater, who's been good. Elijah
Rashawn
Veritaga, Mac Jones, Zaven Collins, not done anything. Alex Leatherwood,
Uh,
already off the Raiders.
Jamin Davis is pretty good.
Jalen Phillips, Jamin Davis, Kadarius Toney. I mean, he's
Good.
not even on the Giants anymore. Quiddy Pay, he's been all
Eric
right.
Stokes is pretty good.
Caleb Farley's Christian
There's no one else
Darrisaw.
in the first round that comes close to Michael Parsons.
No one even remotely
No one's
close.
close.
I mean, there's no,
Yeah.
look at the Jets. You know, I was gonna go on a little rant about this
boy.
week.
Poor Jets.
I was gonna talk about this. Mac Jones went off against the Vikings, but I don't think you can rule out benching your quarterback after the second year and saying you're done.
No, I totally know.
Right? If
I think the
you
Jets.
see so little improvement from like Zach Wilson, there is no reason he should be starting a single another game for the Jets this season.
No, I mean the Jets
He
see
has
him in
been
practice.
so bad.
Not only that, but they see him in practice every day. They see him in the locker room every day. The guys see him. The vets see him. I mean, like they gotta
Mhm.
know, right?
Also, can you? I mean, he's got to have a PR guy or something.
Dude, his
After
PR guy,
this.
his PR guy, whoever it is, has to be fired. I mean, it's bad.
It's horrible. All right, studio audience, quick question for you guys.
Yes.
If you were completely at fault for something, but you were supposedly the leader of the team, and the reporters asked you, "Do you take responsibility for this?" Would you say, "Yes, my bad, I messed up and I'll be better," or would you say, "No, it's not my fault"?
I would own up to it.
Of course you would. We didn't see that out of Zach Wilson this
No,
year.
we did not.
And he's benched
Football
against.
players are not like normal people.
He's like
Yeah,
the
they
president.
they can't
They
think
have
straight.
their own set of rules, and they're animals, and they're not normal.
Wait a minute, he's like the ex-president. No responsibility.
Okay, we're not gonna get into
Yeah,
politics.
well,
But we got some bold predictions coming up next.
bold predictions.
We're gonna start with Jules. What bold prediction are you gonna be
Let's
incorrect on
go.
this week?
Let's go back to CenturyLink.
If you want to get something.
What bold prediction do I have this week? I don't know. I didn't think about bold predictions for this week. I came unprepared.
It's fair.
What do you have?
Expected. I got a couple. My first one, I think the Jags upset the Ravens this week.
Really?
Trevor Lawrence, I know you said man on those rankings. Trevor Lawrence has been balling. He's looking like the number one pick, evolving. Into
Oh, stop it. They haven't been that. He hasn't been that good.
He's been getting better
He's
and
been
better.
decent.
He's been decent, and he was horrendous last year, and he's on a big upward trend.
That's fair. Let me
And
pull up the matchup so I can.
The Ravens
come
don't.
up with something.
I don't know how to put. Everyone talks about how great Lamar is, and he's good, but they don't really score. I mean, the Ravens get average 15 points a week.
The Ravens?
Oh, we're coming in with a hat assist.
Oh, beautiful.
Grandpa needs something.
So we're coming in with a little assist. But yeah, I think this is a good match for the Jags. As you were talking about that linebacker they got, Devin Lloyd, their defense has been playing better and better, and I think they're going to shut down the Ravens. I think Lawrence is going to do enough to win the game.
Fair enough.
That is a bold prediction.
That is pretty bold.
They're only 3.5 point dogs. And
That's fair enough.
Jules, what else do you think? Any other ideas pop into your head?
I'm looking at the games, and right off the bat, I mean, I'm looking at what I had for this week in Vegas planned, so I won't go into that right away. But something about that Bucks-Browns game, which is one of my picks. I think the Bucks are so back on track. I think they're going to absolutely blow them
totally.
out.
One of my
I think
picks.
it's going to be 40-15.
I had Bucks. What's the spread in that game?
-3, which
Okay.
lock it in for my this week.
I'm-
You know what? Let's just go to this week,
Let's
mate.
go to this week in
Let's go to
Vegas.
this week, mate.
I actually,
Oh, whoops. There we go.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna add that to my this week in Vegas because I did not know that was that short.
He wants to copy my pick.
I don't care if it's right. Somewhat. That probably won't be right. Okay, so we got Bucks Browns out of the way. That my bold prediction was Tom Brady throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and just torches the Browns secondary.
Absolutely, I couldn't
100%.
agree more.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. The Bucks are gonna absolutely destroy them.
yeah, no, I feel bad.
I don't see any way that the. What do you think? You think the Bucks are back on track
Yes.
after their London win,
Yes.
or not London, Germany?
I do.
You think they're a Super Bowl contender?
No, but they're better
Not
than the
really,
Browns.
but right. I agree with that.
I'm gonna make that my bold prediction.
What, they're going to be in the Super Bowl?
I think the Bucks are gonna be absolutely called Super Bowl contenders 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now, they're gonna be 8-5, and everyone's gonna go, "Oh, the Bucks, they might be a threat for the Super Bowl." I'm saying that right now. I think the Bucks are absolutely a Super Bowl threat. You can never count out Tom Brady. They've got a loaded rest of the team that just hasn't shown up for the first 10 games until now. I mean, they're gonna crush them. That's my first pick of the week. Bucks -3 over the Browns.
I'm gonna have to agree with Jules on that one.
Yeah. Was that in your original 3?
It was not.
I didn't think so.
All right, my next pick of the week. I'm really liking this one. I think the 49ers -9 of the Saints. I know it's a big spread. It's a little bit hefty. But the Saints have been bad. Saints turn it over a lot. And the Niners are just so good, man. Who'd they play last
Okay.
week again?
They played not the Chargers, the Cardinals in Mexico.
Yeah, they blew out.
They
the
did blow
Cardinals.
them
That
out.
was disgusting. Now they're back at home. They're back at. I believe. I'm not sure if they're at home or not, but regardless, the Niners are back on track. They're balling out, and I think the Cardinals might be better than the Saints. I mean, the Cardinals beat the Saints, so I think the Niners win
It
this
was a
game.
wacky game, though. I wouldn't
It was.
assess
I agree.
anything from that game.
I think the Niners blow out the Saints here. I don't think it's that close. I think they win by at least 14, 17 points, maybe more. And I don't think this game's ever close.
You know, I almost took that game, but then I thought back to the fact that the Niners only seem to be able to blow out teams in their division. I don't know why, but whenever they play other bad teams, like the Falcons, for example, they just don't show out. I think the Niners will easily win this game. It could be a 7 or 8 point game. That's the only reason I didn't take that one. But I like your pick. I like it. I like the -9 there overall.
Also, Pete Hannon being back in the 12-11-1. Over 500.
Yeah, you are over 5. You know, I would have been 500, but someone had to convince me to stray
It's
away
not
from the
me.
Chargers. And that is why the Chargers are my second pick this week. They are -3 at the
And
Cardinals.
they're going to remind you why you didn't pick them last week.
They absolutely... Wait, what? Why
They're
I
gonna-
didn't pick them?
Yeah, because you were nervous about the Chargers.
I wasn't nervous about them. I
Yeah,
changed my
nervous
mind
about
because I was confident about the Eagles. The Chargers -3, I mean, They just lost a heartbreaker to Kansas City, like they do every year. They're in the must-win games from now on out, pretty much, to make sure they make the playoffs. The Cardinals are so bad. So bad. I think there's no way the Chargers lose this game, and if they win, it'll be by... If it's a field goal at push, I think they'll win by 6 or 7 or 8, or could be more, honestly. You know what? Give me the Chargers by 14. I'll take them 35-21.
All right. My final pick, I'm going to go Raiders plus 3.5 versus Seahawks. I think the Seahawks I know they're off a bye, but I think the Raiders had a good game against the Broncos. I think Derek Carr is kind of getting back on track with Devontae. And I think Devontae is going to, I know I talked about the Seahawks young corners earlier. I think Devontae is going to kind of remind me who the top of the league is. And I think the Raiders keep this game close. I don't know if they win, but I think this is a last second go down to the wire game. Okay. I see this being a 3 points minimum in that hook. I think the Raiders plus 3.5 is a good bet.
Now, Vic, you live in Vegas half the year. You think the Raiders are back on track, as Brady thinks?
I don't think they're back on track, but I think
they're playing a little better. I don't know. They lost a lot of those games.
They lose close
by
games.
One score.
Exactly. And the Seahawks they're not a team that's going to blow people out. The Seahawks win gritty games. They don't win 28-10 or something.
And I'm hoping that the Raiders come back so my tickets have some more value.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't count on that.
No, I'm not.
The Raiders, I don't like that pick, Brady. I'm going to be honest with you.
Right,
I think the Seahawks have a much more talented team. I think the Raiders are going to...
I mean, I see a record.
The Seahawks are in the playoff race, too. Them and the Chargers both are going to be playing harder. It means more to them. The Raiders, I mean, obviously it means a lot to Derek Carr because this is going to be his last season on the team.
Yeah. Well,
but...
Considering you don't like my picks, I'm feeling a bit more confident, but thank you.
Okay, that's... Yeah, fair enough. You ready for my last pick?
Yeah.
You know, the Chiefs are minus 15.5 against the Rams.
I almost took that one.
But that's not the too many points game I'm going to go with here. The too many points game I'm going to go
so
with...
Corny. You got to work on that. That was such a corny.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Brady.
The
too many points game I'm going to take is the Texans plus 14 against the Miami Dolphins. Now, yes, the Texans are not even starting Davis Mills. Yes, the Texans have a very not talented roster. Yes, the Dolphins are one of the best teams in the league. However, the Dolphins have covered once in the last 7 games.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That was last week, wasn't it?
It was last week against the Browns.
Yeah.
The Dolphins tend to play close against bad teams. They got blown out by the Jets, didn't they?
Yeah. And the
Dolphins,
tough. They almost beat the Eagles. They played
the
close
Texans,
with the
exactly. That was my third point. The Texans have played tough against a lot of teams. Let me pull up their last few games.
The Texans are one of the better 1-8-1 teams we've seen in this league. I don't know how many 1-8-1 teams we have seen, but they're one of the better.
They
ones.
lost by 13 to the Commanders, but they also had no offense the entire first half. They lost by 8 to the Giants, who were 6-1 at the time, 6-2. They lost by 12 to the Eagles. They lost by 7 to the Titans. Somehow they got blown out by the Raiders. They beat the Jaguars. They lost by 10 to the Chargers. They lost by 3 to the Bears.
Yeah,
great team, of course.
They're playing these teams. They're playing these teams close.
They're playing relative. I wouldn't say close, but they're playing close enough.
They're playing close enough to where 14 points is a lot of points.
Exactly. So I think that's a very manageable cover. Miami hasn't seen. I don't even. Is their backup? What's his name?
The Texans?
Yeah, I saw it the other day. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I don't. The Texans are starting. They're putting someone out on the field on Sunday that's not named Davis Mills, and the Dolphins might not be prepared for it.
Who is the quarterback?
Yeah, now I'm curious. Let's see. Texans. I think it's Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen.
Which doesn't bode well for them, but
it's Kyle Allen.
Is it Kyle Allen?
Lovie Smith confirmed it 18 minutes ago.
Who is Kyle Allen? Where's he from?
He's played on the Panthers. He's played on Washington. He hasn't been good for either, but it's something different than Davis Mills, and they'll probably pound the rock with Dameon Pierce. Does Miami have a run defense? They have a pass defense. They got Byron Jones, Xavier Howard.
I mean, Fields set the record against them, so I don't think so.
You're right. Yeah, so maybe Dameon Pierce goes off, and the Texans cover.
Yeah. Also, quick side note: just came in. Von Miller has a lateral meniscus tear.
Oh, so is he done for the year? Or is that a 6-7 week thing?
It's to be determined. He can either get surgery, put it off, or he can potentially play through it and get surgery at the end of the year. So it's going to be up to him and the Bills organization. So we will know more about that.
You know, something I want to talk about real quick, related to Von Miller and the Bills on this screen, actually. Apparently, OBJ is visiting the Bills
And
Where do
some
you-
other team.
and some other teams.
I hope
Where
it's
do you?
the
Who do you
Bills.
think's gonna win the OBJ sweepstakes?
I'm really hoping it's not the Bills for the fact that I have Stephon Diggs in fantasy. But
Oh, it always comes back to fantasy, doesn't it?
when it's the AFC that I don't care about, yeah. But I think he goes to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are selling him and pushing from the hardest. Odell's always been a guy that likes the spotlight. He's always been like in the
He
news.
does like the spotlight.
I think he's going to get the most spotlight, the most media, the most love in Dallas.
Okay.
And I think he's
Do you
going to pair
think-
well with CD and Michael Gallup and those guys down there. And I think that's where he's going to want to go. I'd be shocked if he went to the Giants with their anemic passing game.
I would also be quite surprised. I think he looks at Daniel Jones and says the ball isn't gonna hit me in the hands. It's gonna hit the defender in the hands, or it'll hit the ground
He'll
first.
probably hit the ground first.
It'll probably hit the ground.
Based on what we saw yesterday, he'll hit the ground first.
So it seems like Cowboys and Bills. Which do you think he'd do better on? Ooh, that's a lot of silence. Brady's really thinking here.
I don't know. I think he'd do well on both. I think the Cowboys. I think he'd get more action on the Cowboys. I think for how hard they've been pushing, I don't know if they'd rush per se, but they'd really be in a hurry to get him involved in the offense involved. I think Dak would give him. Dak throws the ball a lot. I mean, so does Josh Allen, but Dak likes to throw the ball, especially to his guys. Like I don't know how many targets Gallup and CD had yesterday, but he'll get Odell the ball, and Odell will be happy there. I think he'll do great in the Bills.
I think I'll be happy.
I think he'll be happy either, but I think my money's on the Cowboys.
I'm gonna disagree. Well, my money on where he'll end up. I also think he'll end up on the Cowboys, but I think he would do better on the Bills because
Why?
the Bills are so set on throwing the ball as many times as they
Actually,
can,
no, I'm gonna agree with you, but I don't know if it's for the same reason.
and Josh Allen is gonna be rifling it around the field. I think he is a better number 2 receiver than like Isaiah McKenzie is not as Well, Gabriel Davis is their number 2, but I don't think he gets the target share that Gallup does.
No,
And I don't think the Bills have someone like Zeke and Pollard who are going to get more touches. I think the ball would go to Odell Moore in Buffalo.
yeah, I mean, the thing about Buffalo is they double team Diggs right now. If they can't do that, they have to single team Diggs,
Exactly.
Odell, and Gabriel Davis, and I think Odell's going to get a lot of targets because Davis takes the top off the defense. Diggs can do whatever you want him to. And same with Odell. I think Odell. I think Odell is gonna really fit with that offense.
I mean,
I think he'll be very
Vic's
cool.
very interested in
Vic
the
is
Odell
locked
conversation.
in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. You ready to wrap it up?
Nice.
I have one question for your predictions.
Yes.
Okay.
Just thought of this one.
If Fields doesn't start, which I don't think he will,
If he doesn't start, Jets -6 is
in
over.
what quarter will Simeon be brought to Northwestern Hospital?
Well, I think the game's in New York.
Oh, they want to take him back home.
I'd give him like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Real
that's
time.
fair enough. Yeah, but the Jets have no pass rush, so
The Jets have a great pass rush.
who?
They had 6 sacks last week.
They did?
Yeah.
Who on that line is a pass rusher? Quinn Williams is a
Quinn
run
Williams,
stopper.
that rookie they got, Jermaine Johnson.
Leonard Williams is on the Giants,
No,
but
Jermaine Johnson.
oh, from Florida State.
Yeah, that guy's a beast.
Is he really that good?
He's a beast. I don't,
Okay.
He's not like beat. He's not. He's good. He's good. They get to the
Interesting.
quarterback. Jets.
Okay.
Jets are like top
Well,
10
maybe
sacks
we
ever.
have something to worry about then.
Well, we have
I want to know what I want to get my get well card ready to get it there in time. I want to send it in. So
I think-
you're expert.
I think second quarter, Bears have to go to 2 minute drill. They have to pass. He gets it. Boom.
There it is.
He's gone.
It is a sad thought.
It is a
It
sad-
really is.
I wish Trevor Simeon the best, but unless he turns into Justin Fields mobile wise,
Who's so
he's
trouble?
gonna get brutalized.
All right. Well, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Is that all you got? Any
My-
final
My
thoughts?
sheet's done.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
everyone.
Thanksgiving. Happy
Thanks
Black
for
Friday.
watching. Happy Black Friday.
Have a great weekend,
Go
everyone.
find your own deals like the Seahawks did.